Good day, everyone. We are making our way through December, and I know many of you are making plans for Christmas get togethers, and so are we. When we get together, it's a house full anymore. With 4 children and their mates, my wife and I, it's 10 adults, plus we have 8 grandchildren, and they're growing. But one of the things we like to do on Christmas, we usually meet on Christmas Eve or a day right around Christmas Day, is we like to read in Luke's Gospel the Christmas story. And of course, that goes in those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that the whole world should be enrolled. And the next verse is something that's somewhat of a tradition now. We like to have our oldest son read this verse because when he was quite young, he struggled with the word Quirinius. This was the first enrollment while Quirinius was governor of Syria. And of course, Luke's giving the historical background. But the word Quirinius is a word that it's difficult to pronounce when you look at it. And he had difficulty to begin with, so we like to give him that particular portion. And then we usually pass the Bible around and everyone reads a verse or two. And then after that, they get to open presents, the grandchildren. But we all have our routines during Christmas time, and we all have favorite passages we like to read, or perhaps it's songs we like to hear, traditions. And one of the dangers in in doing that is sort of putting God and Christmas into a box. And when it comes to God becoming flesh, it's anything but something we put into a box, because when we understand the incarnation, it's something of a great mystery. It's something that we can't totally understand. And it was like this for Mary to begin with. When the angel came to her with this great message, she was taken back. She was troubled. The angel said, "Hail Mary, full of grace." And she was taken back by the fact that there was this greeting and something wonderful was about to happen here. We read in this particular verse in chapter 1 of Luke's Gospel, she pondered. It says, first of all, she was greatly troubled, and she pondered what sort of greeting this might be. She was taken back. And of course, she was taken back even more by what the angel was about to reveal. But it's interesting, this word, dia terrarasso, it has to do with being perplexed. We would use a vernacular term, it blew her mind. She was taken back by it. She was taken back by this great greeting. And then it also says after this that she was pondering what this greeting might be. It's an interesting word. It has to do with having conflicting thoughts in your mind. She was pondering. She was trying to figure out what was happening here. And of course, Mary did a lot of that. Mary had a lot of consternation because of what was about to happen. she couldn't figure out how she would, of course, bear a son, the Messiah, nonetheless, when she was a virgin, and she had every intention of staying a virgin. But there were other perplexing things concerning the incarnation that Mary spent a lot of time pondering. The fact is, when it comes to incarnation, the eternal Son of God becoming flesh, it's anything but routine. It's anything but what we can figure out and put into a box. But we like it that way. Many times we like to put spiritual things in a box, thinking, well, we have God figured out because we have some Bible verses that says this about God or the other thing. And somehow we have him figured out because we are able to understand certain verses. But there's always going to be a mystery concerning the incarnation. How is it that the eternal God could come into a womb of a perpetual virgin, the Virgin Mary, the one who had an immaculate conception, the one who is sinless? The only way that the Son of God could be sinless is to take on this kind of flesh. How do you understand this incarnation, God being fully God and fully man at the same time? We we think we can figure it out some. We use certain words like hypostatic union. But do we really understand the incarnation? We have to leave some room, I believe, at Christmas for mystery and for consternation. One of the things that happened when Jesus came to the earth is it stirred everything up and it stirred everyone up. We have the three wise men that came to Jerusalem and asking Herod about where's the one who was born King of the Jews? And the whole city is in an uproar. It stirred things up when Mary and Joseph dedicated Jesus at the temple. Simeon said that this is going to be a sign of consternation, of perplexity. This sign, some will speak against him. And also, he said to Mary that this one is going to bring a sword into your own heart. Stirred her up. It would be a time of great suffering, too, for her. But we like to have our Christmases predictable. We like to have our favorite verses. And we think we have Christmas figured out, but we don't. It's all about incarnation. In 1 Timothy chapter 3, the Apostle Paul said to Timothy concerning the incarnation, he said this, undeniably great is the mystery of devotion, who was manifested in the flesh, vindicated by the Spirit, seen by angels, proclaimed to the Gentiles, believed in throughout the world, taken up in glory. The Apostle Paul says that this mystery is great, and it has everything to do with an incarnation. This one who was manifested in the flesh. The Apostle John, he says that we've seen him, we beheld him, our hands have touched, but you couldn't really figure him out. The disciples couldn't figure him out because he's the eternal God becoming flesh. The mystery. Mystery means you can understand something of it, but you can never totally wrap your mind around a mystery, because a mystery has to do with God. You can't put God in a box. He doesn't fit. You can put a few Bible verses on the outside of that box, but you can't put God in a box. God is infinite. And the incarnation is a mystery. We decided we're going to change it up this year. We're going to add some verses from Luke chapter 1 and speak of this mystery. How is it that a virgin can have a baby? And how is it that God can assume human flesh and be God at the same time? How is it that God can still be human flesh and God at the same time now in glory? Mysteries. You'll never totally wrap your mind around them. Leave room for mystery this year in your Christmas celebration. It's so easy to go through the routines, but it's an event that shook up the world, and it should shake our world up. It's a mystery. God bless you, and I hope you have a great Christmas celebration by leaving mystery, a room for mystery in it. Thank you very much.